Hi everyone, it's Ciala here. Today I'm super excited because we are going to talk about the Infinity bike seat. I can't wait to test it out and share my thoughts with you in this review of the Infinity bike seat. Let's go! But first we are going to talk about the saddle itself. I bought the saddle the 1st of June and I got it the 27th of June. So I had to wait 3-4 weeks to get it. I'm living in Belgium, it's coming from the US, so it needed some time to ship. It's also a very expensive bike seat. I paid 377 euros for the A1X Infinity bike seat, and there were 118 import taxes. So it means that I paid almost 500 euros just for a saddle. So why did I buy that kind of expensive saddle? First of all, it's created by a fellow chiropractor. I'm a chiropractor as well, so I have some confidence in my colleagues when they create something. So it's not created just by some big brand that wants to innovate something and wants to earn some money. It really was created by thinking out of the box and by feeling himself, what was hurting himself, where he had pain, why he had pain, and what he could do about it. I'm also having some pain in the groin area when I am biking. I tried different saddles, it never really got better. It's okay to bike 100 kilometers, but several days in a row biking 100 kilometers, it's more difficult. After a while I'm like sitting a little bit crooked. I'm sitting in one place of the saddle, not at the other place. It's not fun to be in the saddle anymore. I also need to adjust like 5 to 10 minutes when I start to be able to really sit down on the saddle and to put all my weight on the saddle. So I'm searching for a solution that I can just focus on the bike ride and not on the pain anymore. It's also a saddle that is used in the race across America, race across France, race around Poland. So a lot of people that are doing long distances, who are biking for 24 hours or even more in a row, they're using that saddle. Many bikepackers, they don't have that expensive bikes, but they are still using that expensive saddle. So I thought it should mean something. Also, after some research, pain in soft tissue area in the pelvis, around the pelvis, it may come also from sweating in that area. And when we sweat, the soft tissue is getting wet, and when it's getting wet and it stays wet, then there's more easily some tear on the skin. Also there's some bacterial growth because it's wet. Many people, they use cycling shorts with a lot of padding to avoid pain in that area, but if the padding gets wet, then the skin stays wet as well. Now, the Infinity bike seat, it has a hole in the middle where all the soft tissue is. So there is some respiration, there is some air coming through. So I think maybe if there is more ventilation, it's better against the wetness of that area. Also, they say on the websites that you don't need cycling bibs with a lot of padding. On the contrary, you have to avoid cycling bibs with a lot of padding. So cycling bibs with a lot of padding, they cost around 200-300 euros just for cycling shorts. So if you can buy a saddle of 400 euros and avoid buying a lot of cycling shorts of 200 or 300 euros, actually it saves money, if it's true what they are saying. Also, to avoid the bacterial growth, they buy or they sell in the stores some tissue, antibacterial growth. So maybe if I avoid that, it's better for my health as well. But I'm still afraid of some things about the saddle. I have a saddle here. You can see it. I didn't buy the saddle with the big hole in it. I bought a saddle with some soft tissue over here. It's quite a feeling of a hammock, so I'm curious. The sit bones, they should come here. The soft tissue is coming over here. So indeed, there's no support over here, so the support is going over there. So I'm curious, won't it hurt over here? Because the groin area is also coming over there. So I'm curious if this won't hurt, because we need some support on the saddle. We can't stay not on the saddle. We have to sit on the saddle when biking for a long distance. So support has to come somewhere. So I'm thinking, is the support on the other places? If this won't hurt. So we'll see. And you can see the saddle is also a little bit going uphill over here. We have this part here that is harder. They need it for the bike fit. That's also something that I'm afraid of. Will the bike fit change? Can we sit in different places of the saddle, or shall we stay more in that part? But if we are riding faster, we are scooping more to the front to have longer legs, to be able to push harder on the pedals. Will this be able as well, or shall we be forced to sit here in these places with our sit bones? So I'm curious for that. And the bike fitting, I see a lot of films, a lot of information on their website of the Infinity Bike Seat about the bike fitting. So that lets me think that the bike fitting isn't that easy. I am also a bike fitter, so we'll see how it goes. You can also have an appointment with the creator of the bike seats to have some information to put the bike seats on your bike. So that lets me think it's not that easy to put it on the bike. So let's try to put it on the bike, and let's try how it feels on the bike. I'm very curious.
So I went on a bike ride for almost 40k. The first time I went down on the saddle, I sat down on the saddle, I had a wow feeling. It was really amazing feeling. It's like you're supported, like when you're carrying a baby. It's the same feeling. You're supported like in a hammock. It's really nice to just sit down in a saddle and just pedal. So that was really great. I thought, okay, now this is it. But after a while, like 5-10 kilometers, I had some pressure on the hamstrings, because when you're sitting down, the pressure of the saddle is pushing a little bit on the hamstrings. But for like 5 minutes later, I didn't feel it anymore. So I did some headwind, backwind, uphill sections, downhill sections. It all went quite great. I didn't have pain anymore. It's really like doing a new sport. It's finding a new sport in your own sport. It's really great to feel this. Before, I also had the difficulty to stay at the same pace, because when you stay at the same pace, your weight is really pushing down on the saddle. And now, when my weight is pushing down on the saddle, I can just focus on pedaling. Before, I had to go to a bigger gear, because when you go to a bigger gear, you're pressing harder on the pedals, so actually you're pushing your buttocks up, so you have less pressure on the saddle. or you're contracting all your muscles, or you are sitting a little bit crooked, you're going faster. Now I just can stay at the same pace and put the same pressure on the pedals, not switching gears all the time. So it's really great to do. So next ride will be 100k. I'm curious how that will go, because now it was 1 hour and a half, then it will be 3 hours and a half. So I'm curious. I really want to try the saddle on the longer rides, a couple of days in a row, and I'll let you guys know. I have been riding the Infinity bike seat now for a little bit more than 1 month, and I have to say, in the beginning I had that wow feeling, and it still stays, but I had to adapt my bike. Like you can see, this is the bike seat, so it does has a slope. It goes down here, then goes up. So when I was in an aerodynamic position, I had some pressure here on my pubic bone area. My male parts didn't really like it, so I had to put another stem size on my steer. So I put a shorter stem size and on a bigger angle. So now I'm less aerodynamic, but I'm really comfortable on my bike. Especially because I go out for like 150, 200k. I want to do 500k next year, so I have to train for it, and I didn't have any pain in the soft tissue area and on my pelvis at all. So that really does go well. The only thing I can say is the saddle itself is a little bit wider. So it can give a little bit pressure more on the hamstrings, not on the hamstrings insertion, but on the hamstring muscle. It's a little bit adapting, but actually it doesn't hurt. It's you don't feel your buttocks at all. It's just a little bit adapting because it's another way of having pressure on your buttocks when riding your bike. But I don't think, like, when you're sitting at the desk, you are sitting 8 hours or 9 hours a day, it's not good for your body. So if you are sitting 8 or 9 hours a day on the bike, I don't think it's very good for your buttocks and your back and your legs either. But we should be able to do it because we are always sitting 8 or 9 hours a day at the desk. So we should be able to do it on our bike as well without having a lot of pain. This bike seat is really solving my problem for the pain I had on my buttocks. So it was worth the investment. Just note that you have to adapt your bike a little bit. I wasn't really sitting really good on my bike because once I did the 300k race across France, and then I already had some pain in my neck, and that was only 13-14 hours ride. So when I do 500k, I had to adapt my bike, and that saddle pushed me to do it immediately. So now I'm really enjoying the ride. I can focus on the ride and not on the saddle anymore. So that's really nice. I can really recommend that saddle, and the wow feeling I had in the beginning, it really stayed. So I hope you are something with this video, and if you have questions, just comment them below.